Support for KKFI is provided by the Kansas City Indian Center, serving the community since 1971. Based in Midtown KC, the Kansas City Indian Center encourages social, educational, and economic advancement of the American Indian community by promoting traditional and cultural values. You can learn more about their programs, events, and resources, and how to support their mission at kcindiancenter.org.
Tune in to Economics for the People every fourth Thursday at 7 p.m. It's a show about people and communities, economics, life, and livelihoods, about diverse voices and economic experiences. Join us on a collective journey to shape and reimagine an economy that prioritizes people over profit. Economics for the People every fourth Thursday at 7 p.m.
Okay, and we are back on Soul Child Radio. I am your host, Soul Child, aka Nicolette Paige, aka La Bandita Imolina Aye Africa. And we have sitting with us Princess Leah, and that is actually her real name. Hello, I love this. For those of you who are listening, we just got done hearing a song called, well, let's just go through the playlist real quick, okay, y'all? So get your pens out because I know that the listeners are like, yo, what was that? What was that? So the first song you heard was Bloom by Black Party. I love that song. It's all about just like hoping for the blooming of your brothers and sisters and, giving them those types of vibes. Like, I hope your flowers bloom. I love that. And then we heard Life's Sweet by Jessie Royale. And then one of my favorite poets, Sunny Patterson, we heard her song called Ancestors. And then we heard Ways by Janae Aiko. We heard I Can by Nas. It's a classic. And then Yoga Mat by Stickman of Dead Prez. He's got some amazing albums, y'all. Just so you know, Stickman, Stickman. Y'all gotta listen to his album called The Workout and his second album, well, his other album called The Workout Part 2. It's amazing. And then we heard Forever by Ciroc. What's up, Queen? And that was it. That was it.
More to come.
What'd you say?
More to come.
Yes, more to come. Yes. So I'm so excited because me and Leah seem to have a lot in common. So she is the owner and founder of, what is it called?
FemRems.
FemRems.
Yes. Stands for Feminine Remedies for her divine glow.
Wow, I love that. So I got a chance to get to know her a little bit off air, but I just want to. Okay, first of all, what's your sign? What's your sign? Okay.
I'm an Aries. Aries sun, Taurus moon, Cancer rising.
I love it so much.
Yes.
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
And how did you get, what is FemRems and how did you get started with that?
Yeah, so, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here, I have to say. And I know we were kind of joking about how when you introduce yourself, all the AKAs, that's literally how it is for me too.
So what are your AKAs?
Well, my AKAs. So you may know me as the Princess Leah as well, but you also AKA Melita Irie with Melita Irie Music. Jai Tafari as well. All of these are increments, parts of my name. So thank you, Mom. Shouts out.
Jai Tafari.
Yeah, Jai Tafari. So all of them are increments of my name. I actually have 8 names. So if you knew me, you and went to school with me, you probably used to study my name to try and memorize them. But so Princess Leah, Melita Jael, Tafari.
Is that your whole name?
Yes. And
Oh,
Becca
that
Ricketts.
is so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you. So it's yours.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
So there's a whole song that my mom has made about it and everything. And it's been a wild ride embracing who I am. And so, FemRems comes from just really trying to understand and fully embrace the divine feminine within me.
Yes.
And that starts with my name. It starts with my God chosen name, with my soul chosen name. My parents, yes, they named me them, but they had meanings behind them, which my soul spoke to them for, and I always ask, like, what do they really all stand for. Why was that? Yes, Princess Leah, like it's not a Star Wars thing. You know, I always say the Force is still with me though. Like my parents are Rastafarian, but the Force is still with me.
Yes, yes. Mhm.
But you know, FemRems, when it originated back in 2017 or so, but actually really came through after I became a mother. And so having
How old were you when you became a mother?
I was 8 years before my age now. 24. Yeah, I was 24. And my son Indigo Zai, Daniel Tafari, he came into this world and honestly transformed me in ways that, as mothers know, there is no, you don't get prepared for it. There's no textbook that can really, I read all the books, Conscious Parenting, What to Expect When You're Expecting, all the things. I still could, you know, but nothing really prepares you for it. And I had a lot of anxiety growing up. And so the postpartum anxiety came through, wanting to be everything and perfect and scared and unsure and had no idea what I was doing. And that made me even more scared. And so FemRems was a way for me that helped me with finding peace. It started with just tea. And so like I was, my mom had us all at home. We were all home births. I couldn't do a home birth though, but I did have, I was at was able to give birth at a natural birthing center out here in Overland Park, New Birth Co. So shouts out to y'all, to my midwives, and my doulas as well. And they would give me some tea remedies of alfalfa and red raspberry leaf, and that helps with, you know, the growth of your child as well as its development and what your body needs, their adaptogens. So given the fact that I always had a kind of that herbalistic naturopathic background, in the sense that my mother raised us all very natural, and she also is a nurse herself. My family all come from doctors and healers. We have shamans in our ancestry of medicine men and women, and community herbalists. So it just trickles through, and it's always funny how the generations trickle out. And we'll talk about that with tarot as well, because it gets into that way as well for me. But my mom always raised us on herbs and things like that before kind of Western medication and things like that. And so I was fascinated with how to find ways that could help me calm my postpartum anxiety. And so I would make these teas. The berry mint chamomile is a stickler in my household, and always grew up with the chamomile and mint tea. And then needing something for that would help counteract with the fatigue and depression that would come from this over anxiety, right? So then my mango ginger yerba mate kind of came from that. Which is what I gifted you. Yes. And so I hope you like it. And I don't know. I think I would do little fun experiments with my mom friends. I would make these little tea capsules. And then I would make these little, and then I would just make little teas for like my family and friends for their hormone balance, and just like put like beet powder, and just be in the kitchen all the time. I found myself just always like concocting something, some type of brew. And I think with that, you know, that stemmed from my mom always making capsules for us, and her little Queen Mama capsules and her herbal remedies, and to this day. So it really just kind of started in that way, to give mamas and prenatal, postpartum mamas like something that can help also enhance their own vitality, but also give something for their children, their infants, something that was soft enough for everyone to be able to endure, to kind of replenish that divinity that some can be very easily lost. Yeah.
Replenish the divinity.
Yes.
I can tell your parents were Rastas.
Oh yes.
Divinity, masculinity.
Yes, ma'am. Someone tried to correct me that on one of my songs too, actually. And they're like, I think it's divinity. I was like, potato, potato.
And if you know, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And it kind of transformed over time. I had to take some breaks and moments that I had to find myself in the journey. But then coming back over the last couple of years, I would say like it has turned more into tea. I don't know. I would say tea and tarot for her divine glow. Just being able to really embody and embrace again our full essence of who we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
And I saw on your social media pages, which I love, by the way.
Thank you.
I love how you express yourself. You know, I find a lot of similarities between us in that way because I do love to do the same thing, and especially in your dance videos too, because I can see the energy, the expression, the story. I'm like, yes, I know what that means.
Yes, yes.
I'm one of those people as well that sometimes the way I move my body will tell you a lot more of how I'm feeling in that moment than what my words can say.
100%.
That's a part of being a creative.
Yes. Yes.
I love it.
Well, I feel like we're all, I mean, that is the artistry that we all are, is the channel of divine love, you know? And so I feel like that is my purpose here, is to be that intuitive channeler, that channel of conscious love, you know?
Right.
Yes.
I think we're walking the same
I think so. I think
yeah.
I attract the right people, the right energy, the right resources like Nicolette, Paige, and SoulChild. No, absolutely. And honestly, like it's funny because, you know, the path of like meeting new friends, and I think you had JM on your show the couple weeks ago, introduced me to you, but at the same time my mom's been saying your name forever, and just like people that I know and the connections of, you know, the intertwining of this world always brings us on the path when we need it and when we're ready for it, right? And so I think the soul growth that I had to do in order to even meet you at your frequency, to be honest.
Likewise.
And likewise, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So, I mean, what better way to spend Thanksgiving here than with our new soul tribe, soul sister?
I was just thinking this morning, I was like, what? Because I like having tea times with people.
Yeah.
Right? That's one of my favorite ways to get to know people. But now that I have this radio show, I'm like, what better way to get to know the people I want to get to know than be like, come on my radio show, let's get to know each other.
Girl, I should have brewed up some tea right now. I didn't even think about that.
It probably would have made me sweat more, honestly. That's okay.
Well, my hands are cold, so I'm like shivering and sweating. So we're the same people.
For those of you who are listening, one thing that me and Leah discovered we have in common is when we get really passionate about something, sometimes we start to sweat.
Not even sometimes, like 100% of the time.
I'm so excited about meeting you.
Let me just cry through all my pores.
Oh, that's so hilarious. So you do tea and tarot. I saw it, and that's something that you offer to people. And so, tell me about your journey with tarot, because I love it too, and I have some questions. I love playing the question game with people. I like to know people's favorites and stuff. So, here in a moment, I have some questions for you about your favorites and all this stuff.
Okay.
How did you get into that journey, and what has it been like for you?
Yeah. Oh, that's a strong question. I knew you were gonna ask it, and I'm like, how do I?
Right.
What's my elevator conversation about this?
It's a very broad question.
It is.
But the things that intuitively come up to you, that's like, let me talk about this. I want to hear it.
Honestly, yeah. So, really, what got me into tarot was, to say it lightly, and was the activation of divine love, to be quite honest. It was trying to understand life and love and spirituality and who I am on a deeper level that this world, that this human experience just was not cutting. It just was not doing it for me. And I knew that there was so much more. But like I always felt, you know, kind of like saying like in my artistry, I always felt like I was channeling energy. I was always channeling that high vibrational frequency of conscious love through my music, my writing, my dance. And so tarot was just another tool, it was just another instrument that I realized that it was a gift for me to be able to interpret the energies and be able to then translate it into human words.
Yes.
You know, by being able to see the beauty of the pictures and the meanings behind it and the artistry and the illustrations.
And when you let love lead the way, because that divine love, when we can be a vessel of that and let it flow through, I feel deeply that those are the most accurate messages. When you allow that divine love to flow through, because that divine love comes from the Most High.
Absolutely.
It comes from the Creator, which is in all things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Those messages are accurate.
Yes. Yes. And
I'm sorry.
oh, we getting excited. I'm like shaking over here.
I know, I'm about to pass out actually.
Don't do that. We are live on all platforms.
Okay. Yes.
Great.
For me, when you walk in that place of divine love, it's easy for me to see when others may not be in that space. And it's not for me to judge or to say it's a bad thing because everybody is on their journey, right? But when I meet others who are walking in that path, like it radiates from their eyes, from their soul, from the words that they speak.
Yes. Yes.
I really trust that
Yeah,
energy.
you really have to, and you really can feel it within. I mean, the more self-aware we become, the more control we get to have over our destiny and ourself and our life. And unfortunately, we have been living in centuries of fear-based, lack mentality, poverty, scarcity, fear. And so when you tap into that frequency of divine love, you are shedding. Look at the sun just coming out real bright right now as soon as it speaks, right? The heavens open. But it is, you know, and that is honestly what I feel that this earth frequency is moving into.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. I mean, we're releasing a lot of that carbon density and being able to really tap in. And I think that that is why our children are becoming just so tuned in, born into this world woke.
I know, girl. Oh my gosh,
like there is a reason why I named my son Indigo. Like I didn't even know who he was before I even knew I was going to be a mother. That was what I knew I was going to name my child. And it's just like, you know, even my mother teaching me that I was this star seed, golden child, earth healer, crying angel. And I was like, wow, Mom, thank you so much. I don't know what that means. Like, but now I know. Now I know that it is the, you know, being it's an honor, but it's also it's not a light work to be a light worker.
Honey, you're gonna resonate right now. I just saw a quote this morning. I had to write it down because I was like, yes, about like when you're a light worker, or however you want to put it to words. One thing for sure, we can't be afraid of the dark, and we've also experienced a lot of that, a lot. And I've had to tell people a lot about like all the happiness and joy that I have also stems from a deep darkness, a deep pit of depression, and sadness, and chaos, and insanity, and turmoil.
Girl. The dark night of the soul is real.
Oh my God.
You know, like we think that going through these like conscious awakenings are just like so fluffy and rainbows and sunshine and beauty. And like, yes, you get to that frequency and it's like that is beautiful and you feel that. But at the same time, we're still in this dense space as humans. And on top of that, we do get the blessing of having all the emotions that our human existence gets to feel.
Yes.
But we have been oppressed so much in feeling all of those emotions that we think that they're bad. So then we just repress them.
And not understand
And not
them or
understand
allow
them.
them to be teachers,
Mhm,
vice
mhm,
versa, because we
mhm.
have to learn how do we react
Mhm,
in ways that are
mhm,
constructive, how do we work
mhm.
through the things and not try to just go over the things.
Absolutely. It is hard. And giving ourselves that grace to do that can seem like just living and wallowing in misery.
Mhm.
But like something that I'm recognizing more so than ever is that what is happening is transmutation. Yeah,
Mhm.
transmuting
Mhm.
of that frequency to move from that lower
Mhm.
density to the higher,
Yeah.
and but
Mhm.
you have to, what are those quotes? You got to feel it to heal it, right? You
Mhm.
gotta, you have to
I like
allow
that.
it to come through. You got purged, merge, like get some
Mhm.
coffee mugs up in here on the some t-shirts. And like it really is so true though. And it sucks. Like it's not fun to feel that dark night of the soul. It's not fun to have to go through grief. It's not fun to have that ego death at all. But we have to allow ourselves the space to do it. And it's uncomfortable and it makes other people uncomfortable. And you gotta go and cocoon. And you might seem like you're just being standoffish or secluded and whatever. But that's your protective healing space. That's your
Mhm.
egg, your cocoon to transform,
Mhm.
right? Like I
Mhm.
love the analogy of the caterpillar
Yes,
and
me
the
too.
butterfly,
A
right?
mariposa.
It just, right? The mariposas, yes, like the caterpillar has no idea what they're gonna be when they're like, yes, I'm gonna be a butterfly one day. Like, even if they did have that acknowledgement and to know what it takes to become a butterfly,
Yes.
you gotta eat yourself. You have to cocoon, you have to come turn into and completely disintegrate everything that you knew yourself to be. And that is the journey of conscious love,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and to be honest, like I didn't realize that was what my journey was going to be. I didn't realize that I didn't ever think I was going to be like saying, being on here saying I'm a tarot reader and intuitive artist, more than saying I'm a performing artist, I'm a dancer, I'm a singer. That has been who I have known myself to be.
Mhm.
But what I realized is like I had to kind of release all of that and release the expectations. And I'm still doing it. I'm still
Mhm.
doing it every single day, fighting the spiritual battles of who am I? Who am I supposed to be? And Saturn return and all that jazz, and Pluto doing its thing.
Mhm.
And it's just like once we realize that we are that we're here for so much more than what we have been told to be
Mhm.
here. I think I watched The Matrix for the first time in my life like 2 months ago.
Oh wow! I've
I
not
watched it
seen
like
it
eight,
either.
like I think I watched like the first one
Uh-huh.
when Indigo was like born. I don't remember any of it, but now it's like I'm gonna watch it, and I'm just like, yes, this makes so much sense. Oh my gosh, I get the, same thing with Star Wars. It's like, what's everybody talking about? Why are my parents Star Wars fans? And then I watched Star Wars for the first time and I was like 21. And I was like, I see. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. The force is with me though.
Yes.
Yes, I see. Thank you for channeling my spirit in this movie here. No, but it is true. It is a journey. I did pull some cards. I hope that's okay. And they were
I'm
beautiful.
excited to get into it.
We
For
will.
those who are listening, you are tuned into Soul Child Radio on 90.1 FM, KKFI, Kansas City Community Radio. I am your host, Soul Child, aka Nicolette Paige, aka Loretta Didan Imoleina Arie Africa, and we are talking with intuitive artist and owner and founder of
FemRems.
Yes, FemRems. And her name is, I'm gonna let you do it because you got AKAs to go.
Princess Leah, aka Malita Irie, aka Jai Safari. I.
All of the many aspects of who we are sitting here with us
Yes.
today. So,
And our ancestors.
Ashe. Oh yes. So let's get into you got some tarot cards that you pulled
Girl, you know
out?
I did.
Okay, let's see what's all
I already
what's
did.
all.
And this is what's my favorite is the first one came out, I showed you was the World card from the Modern Goddess deck here. Let me show over here because I do have this.
We're on her live.
We're
right
on her
now.
live here on my YouTube. You can always find me in Princess Leah 888. But we have the World card here. This is ending cycles. We are coming into a new world, ending that old, including in the fact that 2024, that 2 + 2 + 4 of numerology, that 8 number of infinity, infinite abundance, as well as ending old cycles and beginning new cycles.
Yes.
This is where we're at. The World card is the last major arcana in the tarot. It also has all these beautiful, beautiful fixed signs of Aquarius, of Scorpio, of Taurus, of Leo. As we are changing, got a lot of that in the planets happening right now anyway. So don't let me get too much into that. But
yeah, we're definitely in a place of new beginning. It's beautiful.
Complete transformation, I mean, I keep hearing like quantum, like just we're in this quantum vortex of timeline leaping, tapping into our highest timeline. And that is what's happening. What I love underneath that was the Empress card. Girl.
The divine feminine is rising, in case you do not know.
A key.
The great mother is rising up, okay? And it is, you have to see it. Like, you can't not see it.
You cannot.
Seriously.
No, and here's the thing, to confirm that, the High Priestess
Stop
came
it!
underneath.
Oh, dang! I'm gonna die and come back to life, baby. I'll be right back.
Listen, though, that's
Oh,
what's
stop.
happening. That's what's happening.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Yes, because there is this balance that is starting to like happen that people are, the divine feminine is rising, and I have seen more than ever, hey, from men telling other men like, we got to listen to the women. We and there's nothing against the divine masculine either, you know what I'm saying? But come on, y'all, there's been an imbalance when it comes to the woman. And I will say, even with the Black woman, and just the divine feminine all together as a collective, it is time that wisdom really be honored in a way that it once was before. But it's, even with our Mother Earth, just really, oh my gosh, when a woman steps into that divinity, when she steps into that place, it is so beautiful. It is healing.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh.
It is so.
And
I know.
You pulled the World card.
The
which
World
the world
card.
is the Ma.
It
is the great mother.
The womb.
The womb.
Yes.
And then you pulled the Empress and the High Priestess.
Right after that.
Oh my God.
I mean, and then the Six of Cups under that, because this just like, there's so much this inner child healing that is happening that's allowing us, when we tap into our own inner child. I know it's coming through. It is so beautiful. And what I love about this too is the fact that the divine feminine is truly awakening within us all. Like we all have the balance. We all have that balance of masculine, feminine energy. That is the beautiful part that we recognize, right? And so too, like you said, give balance, give light to that, is allowing us to balance within ourselves. The Six of Cups is about balancing our own self.
Yes, and the cups represents the waters, which also represents our emotions. Yes, and as she said, which is so true, the feminine aspect is in all of who we are as humans. We all have the masculine, we all have the feminine within us. And it's, there's this place where we've got to understand, what does that feminine energy look like in me?
Yes.
There's a lot of great healing in that space.
Yes. Well, from the oppression of the woman, of the feminine, to the pain and the torments that we have gone through from all the way back to like Lemuria, of like the experimentations that we have had to endure as a feminine collective, of the distorted feminine collective, of that codependency, of that, you know, the belief that we need a husband, a man, or a partner, or like we cannot do it alone, or, you know, and having our children ripped out from us, having away from us, or not having a society that is conducive and supportive for mothers, for women in general. I mean, I just am highly appreciative of being born to a very earth healing mother who gave birth to me at home. Mama, Queen Mama Nia, I know you on here on this live. She up there chatting like, I love this. I love you too, Ma. And, you know, and it is the truth. Like, if I didn't have that experience, if I didn't have the experience of like being born in a natural pathic place, my mom went to school for midwifery as well. Like, so like she was like her own midwife, like just earth mama, like, you know. And so for me to have that experience, and for me to have that ability to then pour that into myself and my child, I'm grateful to have that foundation. Because had I not, you know, this world would have ripped me apart by now. And it tries. It still tries. It be trying.
Yes, I know. Girl, I know.
It be trying. But I love that we have this beautiful rise of this feminine, sacred feminine too, that high priestess, like tapping into that spiritual, sacred, delicious feminine mother.
Thank you.
Just
Thank
wonderful.
you.
And
Thank you.
I love that. I love that so much. So thank you for letting me say
I love that. And I just want to take a moment real quick to shout out some of the people that we know who are tuning in, like your family.
Yeah.
I think my children are tuning in as well. My little Nita and Elise might be tuning in as well. And I think Elijah's tuning in. My husband, Indigo, who's out there doing what he's doing.
My
and
Indigo
stuff.
baby.
And JM, I know you said,
Yes.
hey, what about JM?
Yep. We said your name, JM. You here? No, for real. And my friends here that I, you know, have also, I've told them about, and they're like, all right, let me set my alarm clock, you know, my Nicole Coco Woods, you know, and everyone, shout outs to everyone. Shout outs to my parents, shout outs to my Papa Rico, shout outs to my uncle, my late uncle George, rest in peace and love on your soul. Absolutely, the owner of G's Jamaican Cuisine. So for those who want to share and show your tributes and your love, you could absolutely do so while G's is, you know, they're not open for much longer. I don't even know if they may have already closed down, but absolutely that has been that is a big loss in the Kansas City, just culture. Anyone else who is shouting out, just shout us to I don't even know, all y'all beautiful soul beloveds. Shout out to my grandmama Lolita, my grandma Tony, all my ancestors. You know, that was something I was going to tell you about with my tarot, is that actually one of my more immediate ancestors, actually my grandfather on my mom's side, his aunt Catherine, was a psychic. And she was also a performer and a dancer, and she would put shows on and read tarot and palms, and she had a crystal ball. My mom still has her crystal ball. She had, I don't know where her deck is though. My mom, I think, threw away, but I'm still trying to call that back in. But she used to do it for soldiers who would come home. And she would pass as Italian, but like it was, I mean, she went by Princess Reba. So just the fact that I was given that princess name, and to have not recognized that this gift came through me. Yes, you know.
How beautiful that it has been going through your lineage and being passed down, and here you are at the manifestation of it.
In 2024. Like this is it's a sacred anointing for this collective, and I'm grateful to be in a safe space that we can even talk about this on radio, you know, and not have people with pitchforks out in front, like waiting for me. But, you know, and be able to like It is. It's a blessing, and to recognize that, and still to know that there's still energy out there that is opposing forces.
Mhm.
I feel that like I said, I feel I battle
Same.
battles,
JM knows all
all
about
the
it
time.
too.
Every other day is like, yo, I'm good. I'm here for now. But like, I mean, I guess that is the natural way and ebb and flow of life. You're going to experience it all, but when you are tapped in and tuned in and turned on, like, you are going to be able to feel it
Honey.
to all of its depths. Like, that is the essence of living fully, freely, and deeply,
Yeah, it's interesting.
and consciously.
Yes, I agree. I have been in a space of like maintaining my boundaries more and more and knowing how to gracefully keep at a distance things that I really need to keep at a distance while
Yeah.
surrounding me with things that I know align with my path.
Yes.
And it's interesting just to see. I mean, I can be so sensitive to like even the music that I listen to. It's really crucial that I am feeding my soul 24/7, things that really feed
Yes.
that soul.
Yes.
And the people that I'm around, the places that I go. I'm even at a space where the places that I used to be at, I don't want to be at anymore because of the energies that are there. I don't even want to be around it.
Yeah.
But what's beautiful is honoring that I'm starting to see, the people who have remained in my life, the new people who have come into my life, and I'm like, oh wow, these people are, they enjoy, the things that feed the
That's
soul
right.
as well.
That's right. I mean, that's attracting your soul tribe.
Yeah.
Attracting your soul tribe. I think that, but it is a conscious decision to do that.
We
It's
can build with those people.
absolutely, absolutely. And sometimes you have to let go of that old world, that old version of you. And that can be scary because you might have like things that used to fill you with joy, people that used to fill you with joy don't resonate with you. And sometimes those can be the closest people. Sometimes those are family members.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to say. Like, you might be my sister, but you're not my soul sister, or like what, and that's hard. That's hard to like, yeah.
The other thing too, here's something that when we walk in the light of love, here's something I love about it is when we get to places where it's like, okay, this person isn't really, resonating with me anymore. In society, sometimes people have a tendency to like really villainize the other person. It's not me. It's if somebody's like whooping your butt all the time, maybe you want to villainize that person because they're really toxic, like that. But it is true that there are two people that can actually go separate ways without being necessarily wrong or bad. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to honor those sacred moments of like, we're gonna have to go these ways, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just we have to go this way, and isn't that interesting?
Honestly, I feel that I have had so many aspects in that when it comes to my relationships in general. Friendships, as I mean, I've had endings of friendships that were absolutely horrific, and endings of relationships that were horrific. But then also being able to be in that space, like, okay, the ending with my son's father in general actually was one of the most beautiful endings, even though over the last 5 years, like, grieving through it were some things that were pretty tough to go through. But that's just the natural, like, wait, was this right? Was this wrong? How could I feel like this was supposed to be worse than it is? And then you created scenarios that make it worse than it really has to be. But what I initially, after we ended our engagement, like, at that time, it was like, you have like high vibrational soulmate. Like, you have taught me so much about myself. You have taught me about unconditional love. You have brought things into my vortex that I didn't even know were possible, and vice versa. Like, the inspiration of each other and our friendship is profound, and I still have strong respect for him. But we realized, like, this is just the end of our journey in this capacity. And we were able to recognize that. We were able to recognize that initially, and then again, I feel like my ego mind started coming into, but this is wrong because it was so good. It was so secure. It was so easy. It was so comfortable. He was so nice. There was nothing wrong with it. Why would you end what there's nothing wrong with? And I think sometimes that it can be harder than like, clearly you got to end that shit. I mean, stuff. My bad. Sometimes you have to end it versus, but there's nothing wrong with it. But then having to realize, but it's just not aligned with where my soul is leading me. You know what I mean? Like that can be really beautiful, but also really hard because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it's not aligned, don't settle.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
a
like,
big one.
it doesn't mean that you don't have mad respect and mad love for that person. It just means that it's time, you know, that your souls have now completed what you were supposed to have completed at that time. And you know when it's time, when it starts doing the opposite effect some more, like when you feel like your vibration is doing the opposite than what it used to. So that you can make space for what is meant for you. Yeah. I mean, I'm still healing through things like that my mind wants to go to, of like, feel this way. No, you should be mad about this. You should be sad about this. You should be jealous about this. And it's just like, but my soul knows like there's no reason. Like,
that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful place to be.
It's a hard place to be.
Oh.
It's beautiful, but the more aware you are, the more aware of yourself can be a beautiful place, but it also can be a really, really challenging place because it's like, now what do I do with what I know? Yeah.
Wow.
You know.
Wow. I mean, that is
daily struggles over here with the Aries, Sun, Taurus, Moon.
Oh, that is so beautiful, though. I mean, what a great example of like being able to recognize that and say, okay, now it's time that we go like this. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. That was, I would say that was kind of that big divine love opening for me. Like it was like there's so much more that divine wants to pour into me that I need to be open to receive. And to know too, like yeah, like there's so much more for that person too that divine has, that at this point now we are just kind of stagnant. Yeah. And I feel like over the last 5 years, it has brought me to some of the lowest lows that I didn't know how I was going to get out of. You know, coming back from Colorado, I didn't have anything to my name at that point because I was a stay-at-home mom, you know, and I was dependent on that relationship, and we were both kind of dependent in ways on each other. And so having to kind of like re-establish my own foundation started with having to just get my feet underneath, and like shout out to my mom again for allowing me to like come home and just like go back into my cocoon in her space and like find myself as I was. And then 2020 happened, COVID happened, and everyone shut down, and like that depression was just like so hard and heavy, but like picking myself up every day and like having that, like even if it's one family member that's like, I won't give up on you, can make a world of difference. And then honestly, when I would do my at the time, I didn't even have a tarot deck at the time. I had little oracles, this little nature divine oracle, positive messages, and I would read those, and I would do my 21-day soul cleansing journeys that I started doing right before I even knew I was pregnant with Indigo. And I would do those every year, and I still do them. I still have one coming up in a couple weeks, and like finding the outlets, still continuing to write my music, still continuing to dance, still continuing to sing, even when I don't want to, but like crying and going within and taking my baths. Like, if you know me, you know I am a mermaid, and I will be in that bath. Like, when you can't find me,
oh, you're so lucky.
Find me in my bath.
I love that.
But and that's what that's what pulled me, the love that I didn't allow myself to feel, because I was so locked in on this one way of feeling love. When you don't have, when all of that is like, when you walk away from that or it's taken from you, like you find love in other places. I mean, you can have soul awakenings in two ways: hitting rock bottom because you don't have anywhere else to go but up, or your heart chakra gets activated by love, by falling in love with the soul in another person, right? And it's like mirroring all of you, all of your flaws and your traumas and all of your beauties and your essence and and all of love within all of that, and you kind of fight for that space of love, even if that means um having to forget, die to yourself, essentially, to your ego. Yeah, I don't know, this has been a very, very strong spiritual journey, and I'm like, where am I going with this? But I don't know. You with me? You picking up my notes?
I'm so good. I can't see anything behind you but your face.
Yes, yeah. It's a journey, my sister. It's a journey. We could talk about this all day.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking with me. Sometimes I'd be going off and
no, but I love it. You have you go into the depths and all the different aspects, and I really, really like that, because those are messages for people who could be listening, that, even just what you talked about separating from your the father of your child. That's a message.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to share that today, so you're
was.
welcome for my TMI.
Yeah, because that's a beautiful thing when two people can see that and walk away in that way and be able to be present with the emotions and understand, and I'm sure it's been so challenging in ways that you could talk about for a long time, and probably, the darkness of it that you end up going into, but that is, girl, being able to get the medicine from that too, that we can share with other people, is such a wonderful thing.
Yeah. That's that Chiron wounded healer aspect we were talking about, with even with your name of that healing and being able to spread healing through your wounds, through your pain. Like, that is the essence of transmuting and being able to like bring it. And no, I appreciate you allowing this space for me to be able to share that part of my soul on my heart. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to share all of that, but it must have been needed to be heard. Or so hopefully it does give some, give some insight or some perspective for someone, that like it doesn't have to end. Not everything.
People share their stories like that, that are closer to the heart.
Yeah.
It helps to clear heart blockages.
Yes, absolutely. You have to be willing to look at it within yourself. You have to be willing to do that work and shine light on those aspects of yourself that you don't really love. Like, I had to learn a lot, and I'm still learning a lot about the aspects of how I showed up in that relationship, and how I can better show up in my next relationships, and how I can show up in my relationship with my son.
I love how intentional you are. I love that. I love it when people are intentional like that. I'm just like, thank you, Spirit, for surrounding me with these intentional beings that really think deeply, in a very constructive way, to really go within yourself, Spirit was like, Nicolette, the work you do for others is going to only be as powerful as the work you do for yourself.
Period.
Yes, the work you do within,
and
that's important.
Yeah. It's not only important, it is necessary. It's like what this world absolutely has to do.
I love that you communicate these things as well. Sharing that helps others to feel the freedom to do the same thing and communicate.
It's a journey for me. I find myself like being more introverted than I used to be, but even when I was extremely extroverted, that was my shell still, of like, don't really see the vulnerable side of me. So even me sharing stories like this is like very, very like hard. It's new for me. It's uncomfortable in the sense of like being broadcasted and but spirit has also been telling me this for a long time. Like, you need to share your story. You need to share what you have gone through, because people need to hear that. Like, it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you weak because of what you went through.
Right,
Like, the fact that you're still like here today is what makes you strong. Yeah, you know, Cat in the Hat always says it's because you were afraid is what makes you brave. Thank you, Dr. Seuss. Thank you, PBS Kids.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Beautiful Nicolette, for having me here too. This was wonderful.
Yeah, it is
Truly.
wonderful. So, we're gonna hear a few songs, and we will come back here shortly to wrap up this conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, and at 12:30 we have a few messages as well. So, I am going to play. Let's see here what I got on here. I got some good ones coming up. So, Apple Tree by Erica Badu. I love that one. Oh, there's another one right on time. It's called I Forgive Myself and I Release by Jim Minnell. Have you heard that song?
Jim and now.
It's I Forgive Myself and I Release.
But I can't wait to hear it.
Oh, it's a
Yes,
good one.
right on time.
And we'll be back after those songs, y'all.
I like to dedicate